I wonder if it's online or not, because I don't see any images yet.
You want to go to bed? Why do I have to go with you, you know?
My son will go to bed too, but then I'll be up at 3 o'clock.
What's this?
Do we know if we're on TV yet? Anyone able to call upstairs?
Who are we waiting
I
on?
think, didn't he say if you just start, it'll show up?
Yeah, but nothing's showing on the screen as in
no.
like, I don't want to start with it not being live.
Right.
I mean, it might be live, but I can't tell because
Yep, we're live.
we're live? Okay. We just don't have the signal on the screen. All right, so then I'll call this meeting order. The board does not write zoning ordinance, but does have the authority to grant relief from where practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship would result. The board will vote on each agenda item following a public hearing. Use variance requests require a minimum of 6 affirmative votes in order to grant the requested variances. Non-use variance requests require a minimum of 5 affirmative votes in order to grant the variances. Please note that any order of the board is valid for a period of 1 year. If you would like to request that the board table or adjourn your case due to the absence of a full board, you must do so. You must inform the chairperson immediately after the public hearing. Currently, we are down to board members, so that means we only have 7 instead of 9. Petitioners shall do their best to limit presentations to 10 minutes. Each participant in a public hearing shall do their best to limit comments to 3 minutes. All right, as stated, we're down to board members. The approval of minutes for October 10th, 2024. Is there any amendment or motion to approve them?
I'll move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Mr. Moore seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. No unfinished business, so we'll move on to new business, case number 24-11-33 for 633 South Alexander Avenue. Whenever you're ready, you may take it away.
Thank you. The subject site is an interior lot and it's located on the east side of South Alexander Avenue, and it currently contains a single-family house. There was at one point a detached garage at the rear of the property, but it was demolished by the petitioner years ago. So as of now, there are no other accessory buildings on site, and the petitioner is proposing to construct a new detached garage at the rear of the property. And the garage is proposed to have approximately 576 square feet of ground floor area. The petitioner is proposing a second level dormer on the proposed garage, and staff of course measures the height of accessory buildings not at the peak of the roof but at the highest midpoint of all roof lines. So in this case, since there's 2 roof lines, staff measured the height at the higher midpoint, which is at the second level dormer. At this point, the height measured to be 18.1 feet, where the maximum permitted height of accessory buildings is 15 feet. So the petitioner needs a variance to waive 3.1 feet from the maximum allowable 15-foot height for the proposed detached garage. Thank you.
Questions for staff? Yes, Ms. Hugan.
Just for clarification, so if the garage itself is no higher than the original, it's no higher than it would have been without the dormer, correct?
Yeah.
It's just the way we measure it.
Correct.
Okay, Ms. Robbins.
And that the pitch here, we have a 12-12 pitch on this garage, correct?
That's what it appears.
Other questions? Yes, go ahead, Mr. Landweber.
Can you explain the methodology of why the city measures the maximum height as this from the upper eave to the ridge and not just to the top of the structure itself?
Yeah, so at the midpoint, that's what the zoning ordinance defines as being the applicable height. So it does specifically task staff to measure the height at that point.
Alex, just a quick question. So the petitioner today was the one who demolished the garage years ago, or was it a previous owner of the house?
I believe it was, but the petitioner could always clarify that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, seeing none, the petitioner is present. You may come forward and present your case.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. Yes, we are proposing basically what Alex had laid out. It's a 2-story detached garage. I didn't want to go any wider because my neighbor's garage to the north is right there on the property line. Any deeper, now you're encroaching on our house. And so we could try to strike the right balance. And we thought a 24 by 24 detached two-story garage was the right balance. Another thing, I wanted to try to leave as much property as I could. So we're obviously having to widen the driveway to meet up with the garage, and that's eating into a lot of our property. So tried to strike the right balance, and this is what we came up with.
All right. Questions for the petitioner? Yes, Ms. Robbins.
Did you consider lowering the pitch from a 12-12?
I did, but we really would like to have some storage space.
It would just be headroom, that would be different.
Right, okay, yeah, that's true. And I was thinking the headroom too, so that's why I went up to 20 feet in my plans.
So, as you probably heard, I asked Alex, I said, were you the one who demolished the garage?
I was, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, I took it down piece by piece.
Other questions? Yes, Mr. Reddy.
So one of our criteria is that the practical difficulty should result from a unique circumstance of the lot. And that's the only thing I'm really struggling with here is I don't see what's unique about the lot that's causing this, if you could help with that.
Well, the lot is we have limited space. So we have like 45 feet of width back there. So if I went any wider, say 28 feet, now I'm getting closer to my neighbor's garage, and I'm trying to leave some yard there. So that's how I laid it out.
Actually, I think the thing is the width of your garage, the location on the site, that's not in question. The question is the height, and the height's all related to the dormer. So maybe what Mr. Reddy's getting more at is, why is the need for the dormer a unique circumstance that needs the variance?
But it opens up, I was thinking the peak was 20 feet in my plans. So I was thinking that 15 feet to the peak was max height. The dormer is to give us more room upstairs, obviously. And the original garage was quite tall itself, so it was taller than 15 feet.
So I just want to clarify, what I think I hear you alluding to is that instead of making your garage wider, which you could have, you are shifting that storage up.
Correct.
Because you have a smaller lot space.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Any other questions? Going once, twice? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
After we'll have public comment, I'll ask if you want us to go forward since we're down 2 members, or if you want to wait off a month. So
Okay.
you can let us know at that point.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. We'll open up public comment on this case. Is there anyone to speak for or against this case? Please come forward now. Going once? Going twice? 3 times. All right, sir, would you like us to go forward, or would you? Okay, bring it to the side of the table. Motions and/or discussion.
Do you want to just make sure you understand how many votes he needs?
Yeah, okay.
I just want to make sure that
You
was
need to
clear.
have 5 affirmative votes, and there's only 7 of us, so.
Oh. So we can wait for another.
But there's no guarantee with it being December that everyone's going to be here either, so.
Well, I think this project's probably put off till next year anyways, so I can wait.
Okay, so you'd like to adjourn the case for a month then?
Sure.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to adjourn this? Yes, Mr. Wolf.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adjourn until December.
Okay, is there a second? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We'll see you in December.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep. If you want, you can think about the comments that we said, maybe come back in December and address any of the questions that people had.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mhm. All right, now I have to scroll down to the next one. Here we go. Case number 24-11-34 for 2804 Shenandoah driveway. Whenever you're ready, feel free to take it away.
This subject site is also an interior lot. It's located on the east side of Shenandoah Drive in the one-family residential zoning district. The site is 100 feet in width, a little bit over 137 feet in depth, and has a total lot area of over 13,700 square feet. And the petitioner is proposing to split it into 2 individual single-family home sites, but would like to keep the existing house and detached garage on the new parcel B. The important thing to point out is that both of the proposed new lots meet the minimum lot size requirements that are required by the zoning ordinance. So there's no variances that are required for the lot dimensions themselves. But since the petitioner is proposing to keep the existing house and garage on the parcel B, they are still required to meet all applicable zoning ordinance provisions, but on a now smaller lot. More specifically, the remaining detached garage requires a 3-foot side yard setback, and based on the location of the new north side lot line, that's only going to be 2.7 feet. So keeping the garage necessitates the need to waive 0.3 feet from the minimum required 3-foot north side yard setback of 3 feet. We also noted in your report that there was a slight error in the petitioner's survey. So when you examine the survey and compare it to the attached photograph of the garage, there is an approximately 9-foot extended roof line that's not shown on the survey. This area, of course, would be included in the total accessory lot coverage, and the zoning ordinance limits the accessory building's ground floor area to not be more than 10% of total lot coverage. So now with a smaller lot, keeping the garage results in a non-compliant 11% accessory lot coverage. So the petitioner needs a second variance to waive the 1% from the maximum accessory lot coverage of 10% on the parcel B. Thank you.
Okay. Questions? Ms. Robbins?
If you were to, no, this is like hypothetical, like just take a saw and cut off that whole little shed area of the garage, then does that remaining garage fit? They wouldn't need that first variance? Would that be true?
Well, that would remove the variance for the total lot coverage,
lot coverage,
but they
okay.
would still need the variance for the side yards, correct?
Okay, that's,
Ms. Sugan?
I just want to make sure, so the division has been administratively approved. We don't have to deal with that.
Well, we can't approve it unless these variances are either granted or the petitioner demolishes the garage. So that's kind of the holdup right now.
Mr. Wolf?
Alex, as you remember from last month, if there's a certain number of lot splits in a certain area, makes all the other ones approved administratively. Is that, does that apply in this case?
And I may need, can you rephrase your question?
Yeah, so last in October, we had when there was a lot split, there was a provision in the zoning ordinance that said if there is a majority of lots in a certain size, then it's administratively approved. Is that
Yes, that only applies if they were to propose lot dimensions that did not meet the minimum lot size requirements per the zoning ordinance. But I pointed out that both of these lots do in fact meet the minimum lot size requirements. So there's no variance needed that goes with the dimensions. It's just for the garage.
Okay, thanks for clarifying
So
that.
basically, if the garage wasn't there, they wouldn't even be
Correct.
Yeah, that's my question.
Mr. Reddy?
And then, so the minimum width is 50 feet, that's why they can't just do 49 and 51?
Yes, exactly.
say that, repeat that, please?
The minimum width is 50 feet, which is why they can't do 51 and
Oh,
49
understand.
to allow the garage to not
Thank you, yes.
need it. Any other questions? Once? No, twice. No. All right, if the petitioner is present, you may come forward and present your case.
Hi, I'm John Hawthorne, one of the principals with KBJ Group, and my partner Kevin is also. So thanks for having us for the hearing. We actually bought this lot. It's a beautiful lot in Shenandoah. It's 100 feet, and we had planned on tearing down the house and the garage and everything and building 2 new houses on it. And when we finally got in, we bought the property sight unseen. We couldn't get in there, long story. But when we got in there, we realized that, it's a pretty cool house. It's in good shape and everything like that. And so we made the decision to keep the house, and we're going to rehab it and make it very, very nice. We do a lot of work in the city. And so we went to the lot split, and, to our surprise, we were 3 inches over on getting the lot split. The garage has been there for 50 or 60 years. The house has been there since 1924. So, our intention is to rehab it, re-landscape it, and, really make it a stellar property on there, and then build a new house on the property next door. So in order to do that without tearing down the garage or going through all kinds of, cutting off walls and things like that, we're just hoping that what's been there for the last 50 years can just stay there. And, it's not going to change the neighborhood. It's not going to change any usage of the neighborhood. The new house that we're going to build is going to be on a 50-foot lot, which, as you know, in the ordinance allows you to put a 2-car front end, 2-car garage in there in the front of the house, which we intend to do. So there won't be any building in the back of the yard or anything like that. So, so that's our story, I guess. So.
All right, any questions for the petitioner? Mr. Langland.
Have you looked at, in some way, changing that overhang to comply on the lot coverage percentage?
We have not, no. I mean, it's incorporated in the roof line, so, I mean, I guess we could cut it off, but again, it's been there forever. What's the point? It's a good building. It matches with the house. It's, the driveways are all cut there. There's a little picnic area underneath there.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, again, after public comment, I'll ask if you guys want us to go forward or hold it off a month. We're down 2 board members. You'd need 5 affirmative votes, so basically you could only afford 2 people to go against you. Yep. All right, thank you. Yep. All right, public comment. Anyone here to speak for or against this case? Come forward.
Hi, I am Sean Dunlop from 2815 Benjamin, so I'm right behind. What I have to say probably doesn't have much to do on how you're going to vote. My neighbor who lives directly behind the lot, she couldn't be here tonight. I believe she sent an email. And so our main concern for the developers to understand is welcome to the neighborhood, and we have a water problem as we have rain tonight. So over the last couple of years, several of the neighbors, my next door neighbor on both sides, behind us, we spent a lot of money on bringing dirt in and raising up the level. And so our concern is with the new house that would be going in, just to take into consideration any kind of drainage or sustainable options like bioswales and things like that, that could help, because all the backyards flood there from Shaw all the way down. And that's just something to think about. And then I was pleasantly surprised to hear what you thought of the existing house, because it is a beautiful historic house. It's 100 years old. And I'm on the Historic District Committee as well. So I'm glad that you guys think it's a great property. And I would just say I hope that you keep it looking traditional the best that you can. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to guess, because there's no one else here, anyone else to speak? Going once, going twice. All right, public comment is closed. Would you like us to go forward or put off for a month? Okay. We'll bring it to this side of the board. Motions and or discussion. The first crack, Mr. Wolf.
I am going to just throw it out there. I'm going to make a motion to approve all variances as requested.
Okay, is there a second? There's a second for Mr. Moore. Go ahead, Mr. Wolf.
The practical difficulty is the house, the garage has already been built there, It's been there for, what you said, 50 to 60 years, and 3 inches, or 3/10 of a foot, so what is that, 4 inches, whatever that is. I don't see that as causing undue harm onto somebody else. To the public speaker's comment, I know we've had similar cases in front of us before, and I have full faith that the city's engineering department will sign off on anything, so I'm not worried about it.
Okay. Mr. Moore, anything to add?
No, nothing to add. I think that, this meets all of the necessary criteria, and also, they could tear the perfectly good garage down and send it to the landfill. So, that's something to consider too. I mean, for such a very small variance, they're reusing an existing building that is in good condition, so.
Other comments? Mr. Lang-Weber?
I agree. I think it would be, we're trying to, preserve and be economical and not rebuild something, unnecessarily. And I think typically on these, the structure of that roof would be dependent upon the full structure to exist, and generally taking a rafter or a support out would be a major rebuild of that garage. In effect, you'd be rebuilding the whole thing, and which I don't think is desirable. And it is, it's an existing building, and so I think I'd be in support of the motion.
All right. Ms. Robinson?
I normally am against building more on what green space that we have in the city. This is such a small variance, like we've discussed right here, so small. And I'm really happy that you're keeping the older house, the 1920. I too am on the Historical Commission, but to save what we can, and then I would just, and this has nothing to do with this hearing, I would hope that for the new house that you are going to build on that extra lot would to fit in with the same design of the older houses.
Anything else? Ms. Sugan?
I'll be supporting it. I'm sorry to see those trees go, but I'm very happy that you're preserving that house. I like preserving the character of these neighborhoods that we have here, and I commend you for that effort.
Anyone else? I too will be in support, mentioning of those trees, as well as the water issues. Those trees actually already help soak up some of the water, so you guys are even going to have to deal with more water now with that. But that's not part of the zoning part. But I will say, going through the variance, this chapter's restrictions unreasonably prevent the owner from using the property as permitted use. Yeah, they'd like to have this split. If it wouldn't be for these little inches that were there on this 50-year-old garage, they'd be able to do that. That's not their fault. This garage has been around before this part of the variance came about. Variance would do substantial justice to the applicant as well as the property owners of the district. We already talked about that, how it allows them to be more sustainable in keeping something that's already there functioning, as well as the character in the neighborhood. We don't grant this, they might tear that down and you might get something that doesn't look the same. The plight of the landowner is due to the unique circumstance of the property. We already talked about that. And the alleged hardship has not been created by any person presently in interest of the property. I guess you could argue because they're splitting it, they brought it on themselves, but they can't help the fact that the garage was this size as it is already. So I'd say that's more leaning of they didn't create it themselves. So because of all that, I have no problem with supporting the motion to grant the variances. And if there's no other comments, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Congratulations. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. Next up, we have under other business, meeting schedule and religious holidays for 2025.
Yes. So each year, every board is tasked with reviewing their meeting schedules for the upcoming year and to identify if there are any potential conflicts with religious holidays. So staff went ahead and provided you the 2025 meeting dates with potential conflicts listed. But if the board is comfortable with the meeting schedule as shown, there is a suggested motion attached. Thank you.
Okay. For anyone who's affected by any of those holidays, do any of you have an issue with any of the meetings being on those dates? All right, seeing none, is there a motion, does anyone have a motion to approve the dates as suggested? Ms. Robinson?
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second? Mr. Wolf? All right, any discussion? Nope. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. General public comment. Is there anyone here for general public comment? Going once? Going twice? All right, none? Is there, who wants to do the motion for adjournment? Mr. Reddy? Is there a second? Mr. Moore, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No. All right, everyone have a great Thanksgiving. See you guys
thank you.
next month.
26 minutes.
When is it, when are we next month?
We are in,
That will be December 12th. 12th, there you go.
Coming fast.
I can't believe it.
I know, it still feels like September.
blame it on me. My daughter's goes fast.